Hey there, if you're a beauty founder, wellness professional, or a healthcare provider building a brand, I made something special just for you. You already have the results, the credentials, the products, the testimonials, the loyal customers. You're credible. You've built something that works. But if your visibility and your revenue still don't reflect the excellence of your work, it's not your offer. The online landscape has changed. The attention economy is fading. And the brands growing fastest right now aren't chasing algorithms, they're owning authority. In my free masterclass, The Authority Era: How to Become an Influential Name in Beauty and Wellness and Attract More Customers, I will show you how to shift from attention to authority and how to use credibility as the engine that drives sustainable growth for the long term. Watch the Authority Era Masterclass free at factorpr.com/authority, and you can find the link in the show notes below. What does it take to leave a traditional career path, build your own brand, and become one of the few women owning the room, or in this case, the operating room in cosmetic surgery? In this episode of Grow Your Wealth, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon Dr. Gina Maccarone, also known as the Surgeonista, is sharing her journey from working in a hospital to launching her own cosmetic surgery practice and building a brand that champions collaboration over competition. We talk about how she used branding as a bold act of self definition, creating and owning her own category, and just how her personal mission goes far beyond procedures to focus on confidence, self love, and inner beauty. Whether you're in medicine, wellness, or just any kind of entrepreneur, this conversation is a powerful reminder that your story is your strategy and that it's possible to grow a brand that feels both authentic and unstoppable. Here's Dr. Gina. Gina, Dr. Gina. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to Grow Your Wealth.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Rena. I'm so happy to be here. This is very exciting.
Very exciting for me too. For those that may not be as familiar with you, can you tell us a little bit about your path into medicine? What originally drew you to surgery specifically? What made you fall in love with cosmetic procedures as well?
Sure. I always kind of tell the story that when I was a kid, I was telling people that because I loved art and science, I wanted to become a cosmetic surgeon when I grow up. And here I am today, 40 years later. And it's exactly that story. I always loved science in school, and I always loved using my hands. I loved art. I love music, fine arts, performative arts, all of those things. And so I, in order to blend those things together, surgery kind of drew me in because it was a field where I could work with my hands. And now, after doing general surgery and trauma surgery, which were very much fun for a long time, I really wanted to finally get into that artistry, that cosmetic piece where you can see the results from the outside, which is the fun part.
That's so amazing. I love that. And I read in my research, maybe you can tell us if this is still accurate or not, that there's actually less than 30% of surgeons in the US are women as well, which is
That's
crazy.
correct. Yeah, it is crazy.
Wow. So I want to talk about that on the show because we talk about that a lot, being the only woman in the room. And I know working with you that you have been that only woman in the room, the only surgeon in pink too. We're going to talk more about your awesome Surgeonista brand. Um, how have you learned to turn this into a strength rather than something to hide?
Um, I think maybe I was prepared well growing up. My family's very close, and I was the only girl amongst all boy cousins. And every week we gather at my, grandparents' house. We have a pool party in the summer. I'm the only girl. So I was hanging out with boys my whole life and knew how to have fun, knew how to, hang. And that just, I think, kind of helped me be comfortable as I went through school. And feeling confident.
Mhm.
And, when I entered surgery, like you said, there's not a lot of women. It's improving, but we're still not there. I was still able to kind of be one of the guys and handle the banter and all those things. And I think it's fun. I mean, men are great, women are great. Let's all let's all do a great job together. And so, um, along the way, being able to hang with the guys, I still am a girly girl and thought, well, I'm not going to suppress that. I'm going to let my flag fly, pink flag fly.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. And I can also see that being an advantage in your industry, especially cosmetic surgery. I imagine that the majority of people getting cosmetic surgery are women. And so that relatability with their surgeon, in addition to skill and precision, must be so important. So, I mean, could you say in some cases it could possibly even be an advantage for you?
Absolutely. When I was in training in cosmetic surgery, I was training with a male surgeon, and I found that a lot of the female patients were talking to me instead of him. And I'm I'm the one who's learning. I'm not in charge. And I think it's just because there is that relatability. And I think that that makes women feel less intimidated and more comfortable. No one wants to go into a doctor's office and take off your clothes and get your picture taken. It's not exactly on everybody's to-do list. And so any way that I can make that easier for women or men, the funny thing is I just had a patient yesterday whose wife found me. That's how he ended up, connecting with me as well, because she was a fan. And she's like, you got to see this girl. And, he said the same thing. He's like, you just make me feel very comfortable. And, so there is that piece of the personality piece and how you approach the patient that also helps, whether you're male or female.
Oh, for sure. I can see that those tips of yours working in so many other disciplines also, right? Like it's not just about the result that you are able to produce, but likability is so important. I
Sure.
think we don't talk enough about that also. I mean, I think on the flip side, some of us have even had doctors where it was difficult to kind of be comfortable around them as well. And I love that you're attracting those kinds of patients that are looking for incredible cosmetic results, but also, you just called yourself a girl, right? Like you're triple board certified cosmetic surgeon. Like you're very highly esteemed, but yet approachable too. So I think that's amazing. Um, Dr. Gina, you had chatted a little bit earlier about your love of the science and art and how the art really brought you to cosmetic surgery. I just kind of want to double tap on that a little bit more because cosmetic surgery, it is more aesthetic, right? Like, what kind of surgeries are you performing most frequently for your patients? And how does this like science and art kind of come together in your day to day?
Yeah, I mean, with the science piece, there's new things being developed or there's new techniques coming up and coming in cosmetic surgery, but the anatomy, the way the body works, all of those things are pretty much the same. And you have to have a mastery of those coming out of medical school. So that foundation is already there for me. But I think that the part that is most fun with my job is bringing my own style into getting patients, listening to patients, getting patients a result that they're proud of. And it requires a little bit of discretion because
Yeah.
we all see people who, whether they're happy with it or not, have cosmetic work that isn't necessarily what we would choose for ourselves. And, I like to make sure that I'm matching up with a natural look and, what the patient is looking for and blending that all together so that there's kind of this um, uh, eyeballing that goes into it rather than, science is math is they're facts. there's the artistry part is the fun part to bring with each patient because every patient is different. And so I get a lot of patients who are moms whose bodies have changed and they feel comfortable coming to see me because I'm in their age demographic. Um, or I also see a lot of patients for face as well. So face lifts, eyelids, lip lifts, all those kind of things too. And it's all just so much fun.
That's awesome. That feels so empowering as well. I feel like for those that might not be familiar with cosmetic surgery, I feel like we hear plastic surgery all the time. Dr. Gina, would you mind telling us what is the difference between the two? Because they're very similar, but they're not the same. Is that correct?
Correct. Classically, most people think of a plastic surgeon as someone who does cosmetic work because
Mm,
traditionally that's how the training journey would proceed. You would train in surgery to get the baseline skills, and then, up until about 40 years ago, the only option was to do plastic and reconstructive training, which is, microsurgery, cancer surgery, reconstructions, burn surgery, hand surgery, all of these things that ultimately you're trying to achieve an aesthetic result, but you're not technically training just in the cosmetic portion. So
mm,
somewhere along the line, an academy was started that focused just on the cosmetic piece so that instead of training in skills that you weren't necessarily going to use in your practice, you can go directly to the cosmetic training and gain your expertise only in that field. So technically, a cosmetic surgery training has a significant number or more cases required to graduate than a plastic and reconstructive training. And there's plenty of wonderful plastic and reconstructive surgeons. There's plenty of wonderful cosmetic surgeons. My goal is to try to level the playing field and try to work together a little bit more and support each other, learn from each other rather than,
mm.
butting heads and competing because, there's plenty of patients who are looking for help or guidance. We can all help them in different ways.
Thank you for breaking that down. That is so, so helpful because it's nuanced, but also important, just as far as the track that you have chosen is the one that is exclusively cosmetic and you've mastered this, which is so amazing. Would love to pick your brain for just a little bit on this. And then I want to deep dive a little bit more into your brand and business because that is really something that attracted me to your brand is like in addition to the amazing work that you do, Dr. Gina, you yourself are a brand. And I think that you have done such a great job at that. So I want to lead us there here in just a moment, but I know we're all dying to know what are the cosmetic surgery trends that you're seeing these days? What are you know, it could be things that you're operating on yourself or things that you're seeing that you think are going to be big in 2026. Can you download some of this for us?
Sure. It's actually kind of cool that there are trends because it gives that extra nuance to what I do, and
Mm.
it makes it even more fun because I love the variety. And probably about 5 years ago, there were really dramatic looking results like BBLs, which is a Brazilian butt lift, basically
Yeah.
taking fat from somewhere on your body and putting it in a different place to augment, whether it's the breasts or the bottom. So BBLs a while back were very dramatic looking, and that's still trending in certain cultural groups. But I'm seeing a lot of patients coming in who are asking for a more natural looking results, such that I don't want anyone to know necessarily that I did this, not that I'm ashamed, but I want something that fits my frame and looks natural. And the term that's kind of come up on social media is, ballerina body. So, smaller implants for the breasts, more subtle changes for body sculpting, natural looking face work.
Mhm.
I think people are starting to be a little scared by the faces we're seeing that look just too full and over exaggerated, and we're trying to get back to a place where things look a little bit more natural.
Hi, friends. I want to tell you about our new and improved authority accelerator from Factor PR called RealFluence. RealFluence is the only membership that helps beauty and wellness founders grow their reputation and authority to attract new customers without endless discounting, advertising, or going viral. Inside, you'll learn how to get recognized for your product or your expertise, partner with other founders, and become the name people trust and talk about, all with the guidance and community to support you every step of the way. Remember, you can't buy authority, you have to earn it. And RealFluence is here to help. Visit therealfluence.com to get started. I love that. I'm also just kind of thinking about our listeners. Many are entrepreneurs, and may work in health and wellness, may not work in health and wellness too. But for so many of us that are the face of our business, as we get older, I take care of myself, not just, to satisfy myself personally, but, I have an image that I need to uphold as I work through my business too. Are you seeing that you're getting more kind of like entrepreneurs and, women in midlife and things like that that are looking for cosmetic enhancements, not just to look good, but to portray themselves in the best way possible in all facets of their life?
Absolutely. There's always been this kind of aspirational component, I think, in cosmetic surgery where,
Mm.
when you look good, you feel good and you perform better in all areas of your life when you have that confidence. And like I was saying before, it may not even be something that anyone else would notice about a change in your body or a change in your face, but the way that patients carry themselves after they've been through their journey is the coolest part of the job, is just seeing that change. So, yeah, I mean, there's so many people who were, all heavily involved in social media. That's now become part of the job, and you wanna portray yourself as someone that people wanna see or want to look at, naturally.
Yeah, absolutely. Isn't that the fundamentals of attraction as well, whether it's
Yeah,
romantically or otherwise?
yes, absolutely.
Well, makes a lot of sense. And speaking of which, congratulations. I know we're recording this in November. You just celebrated the 1 year anniversary of the Surgeonista, which is so exciting. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you, thank you. It's been when you go to medical school, you don't learn how to start a business. So, it's been an interesting experience, but great. It's a lot of growth happening.
What have you learned? What have been some of your, well, first, before we talk about the big takeaways over the last year, what made you decide to go out on your own? Would love to know.
I have always, I've always loved branding because to me, branding is an art form too. And
Mhm.
when I got into this field, I knew that in order to attract patients that were going to match well with me, I had to portray a brand that represents me or that I'm being myself. And so, um, I was employed in another practice and really enjoyed working there, met a lot of great people, learned so much. But my style, branding, approach is just very different, and there was just a point at which I said, "I really feel like in order to grow in this industry, I need to go out on my own and kinda let my ideas flourish and bring those to the table on my own." So, it's been fun.
Love it. And you named your brand the Surgeonista. I can guess guess where that came from, right? Oh,
Right,
so
right.
you are by far the most, what, not just the most well-dressed surgeon I've ever met, but the one of the best dressed, most stylish women I've ever met. Tell us a little bit about what, like, how you wanted to infuse that into your brand. Like, did you just wake up one day and decide to name your brand this? I mean, I just got off some calls with journalists, and literally one of the editors said, before we uttered a word, I love her already. Like, that is what she said. So that is a good marker of like, wow, my brand speaks on my behalf. And, I would love to hear you unpack, like, how did you determine this would be your brand name? Because everything is really extended off of that.
Yeah, I think it was 2018 where I actually came up with the term. I was starting the aesthetics med spa at Christ Hospital while I was still doing general surgery, and was like, oh, how can I have some fun with this and bring a presence to social media? And goes back to my art, my love of art. I think fashion is art. It's not just vanity. Some
Mhm.
people can label it that way, but I truly believe that fashion designers are artists. They're really helping and letting women feel powerful in their bodies with just the clothes that you wear. And so my whole life loved fashion, have followed fashion, and people would say kind of the same thing. Oh my gosh, like you always have the best outfits, what, and I just said, it's kind of like a hobby. So
Mm.
fashionista plus a surgeon, surgeonista, and I just went with it, and here we are. And so, I still love playing with different fashion ideas. I work with two lovely women at a company called Rose Transformations, because people say, well, what do you need a stylist for? And I think, well, they help me kind of expand and come up with new ideas. And I love working with them. So I do have some help. But like I said, it's just kind of a hobby for me, and it's
Mm.
fun.
I think that's so cool. I think it's not something either to dismiss as well, particularly in such a saturated field as beauty, health, medicine. It can be hard to stand out, particularly beyond your credentials. I mean, we've already identified your credentials certainly set you apart and above a lot of so-called competitors, but brand is so important. It's a part of that conversation too. And there just aren't a lot of physicians that I see that have that vibe, that branding that you do, which can certainly help differentiate you, but also elevate you, right? Like it's not just the brand and the title, it's the cohesion across the board. And whether we realize it or not, but like subconsciously that sort of consistency helps build trust as well, right? Like she's consistently on brand, that I think also folds into that, not just that credibility conversation, but really creating your authority in that space too. So I just like from a PR perspective, absolutely love to see it. And quite honestly, in someone's first year of business, it's unusual to see like you look like you've been in business for a lot longer than that. So were you very involved then in your branding process, like choosing the colors and obviously you got help with some of the styling and anyone else that is kind of in your entourage that helped create this amazing brand?
I think a lot of it comes from several years ago, I met Stevie Carr. She is the CEO and founder of the Wise Wellness Guild. Her background is in marketing, and she worked with P&G for a very long time. She's a powerhouse, and a friend connected us, and we met, and she's kind of my go-to girl for running new ideas by someone, because she just kind of has that marketing brain, and our brains work very similarly, even though we're in such different fields. And so I'm always calling on her for tips and tricks and advice. And then, same thing, just networking. Um, People that I connect, different photographers that I connect with. Aaron Conway, he's Cincinnati based, but he does photos for celebrities all over the country, all over the world, and big branding guy as well. He did my pink photos campaign. And he and I kind of brainstormed together on that after I had my little mood board that I showed him. And so, just
Mm.
these people that you run into and you come across. The world is a smaller place now, and you get to meet all these brilliant other creators, brilliant other people that help you even grow in, your brand or their brand. It's so cool.
I love that. Let's talk a little bit too about confidence because that is something I know you talk about with your patients. You also exude confidence in all of your branding and marketing materials too. Tell us a little bit about this. Like how do you define confidence, Dr. Gina? And how do you help your patients really rediscover their own confidence?
I love that you asked that question because, you know, that's something I really try to hammer home with patients is that the person who walks through my office door is already a beautiful, wonderful human being. And I'm not here to exploit insecurity. I'm not here to focus on vanity. I'm here to bring out that confidence that's somewhere in there that's being inhibited by whatever it may be. And so I think that women need to help each other develop and shine together by, let's not compete. Let's collaborate. Let's bring out what gifts you have to offer. And everyone has them. And it's a matter of finding that inside of yourself and then bringing that to the outside so that you can be a better person for everyone you love around you in the world, honestly. So I think that we all go through periods of insecurity and imposter syndrome. I can't pretend like that doesn't happen. But ultimately we need to find that place inside ourselves where we have that self-love to be able to express it and carry it with, how we go through our lives.
That is so beautifully put. Thank you.
Sure.
I think we can also argue, right, that confidence, certainly, as you mentioned, comes from the inside out. That being said, I know you've got to have some products or practices that you love that help you feel confident too. Do you have a few moments to give us the lowdown on what does Dr. Gina recommend? Because if you're not watching this on YouTube, head to our YouTube so you can see Dr. Gina. She's the real deal. Her eyelashes are naturally up. You're stunning. I mean, flawless skin. That's not surgery, right? Tell us, what are you using?
Is there a filter on this screen? I don't know.
No, it's just
No.
I mean, we have to know, right?
Yeah, no, and that's the funny thing is, being in the industry, I've tried all of the things because people offer you samples, people offer you, you get all bombarded with stuff. And so I'm always trying new things, but there are some favorites that I've tried all the other things. This is what I've got. And so you mentioned my lashes. I use Rodan and Field's Lash Boost. Been using it for about 10 years now and never fails. Um, just a swipe at night, you're done, go to sleep. That's it. And, I have my favorite mascara too, who is Rihanna Fenty. Great mascara. Um, and then, skincare, done all of those as well. Dermatology brands. My favorite one is Zio Skincare by Zain Obagi. They're medical grade, so you can only get them from a medical practice. And half the reason that I carry it in my practice is so that I have access to it myself. Because the products are just they're really high quality. They're not cheap, but ultimately, having tried everything else, that brand is my go-to for skincare for sure.
Okay. Do you have do you need everything in a skincare line, or what would you recommend if somebody wanted to splurge on something like a medical grade skincare? What are top two products you'd recommend?
Sure. So the nice thing about his line is that it is targeted to different skin types and conditions, but there is kind of a base set that's, just a cleanser, an exfoliator, and like a daily moisturizer. So
Mm.
they sell that at a kit that are kind of trial sizes where you can get the feel of whether you like it or not or how your skin reacts. And then based on what other concerns you have, you can expand and pick and choose other anti-aging products or rosacea products or hydrating, all the different options. But the nice part is there is a base kit with just the basics things for people to kind of start on to see if you like it.
Oh, that's so cool. That's amazing. And then similarly, I know you touch on this on social media and even in the media, you're so great at setting the record straight on whether it's surgical procedures or non-surgical procedures. Can you set the record straight for us here today? What would you recommend avoiding? Like maybe things that you've seen gone viral or trending. I mean, like you probably seen it all, right? So is there anything that you're like, we've actually cautioned people against?
Sure. Well, this is the first one that comes to mind. Thread lifts are the enemy of surgeons.
Oh.
They're offered everywhere. They are just they're very temporary. They do give nice results, but they can be very temporary. And if you have any interest in having surgery at some point, they can really complicate a surgical procedure. So I just say be wary of thread lifts. If there are some great products out there, there's great providers doing them, but just do your research on those. The other is, non-dissolvable injectables. There are products out there that can't be reversed. So there are some permanent fillers and other fillers that don't have quote unquote antidote that are out there, that I really try to avoid, because the only way that they can be reversed is by surgical removal. So if you are dabbling in injectables or fillers, make sure that you have a hyaluronic acid filler or something else that is reversible in case you do have a complication or an issue. Um, and, really just avoiding those really dramatic looking, trendy procedures. For a while, buccal fat removal was a big one, where it's the fat pads that live underneath our cheekbones. And that can be indicated for people who are, you know, more mature in age. But when younger people are doing it, it actually ages the face further. And so I really try to tell patients to make sure you do your research, steer clear of that. If you're in the younger age group, it's kind of a trendy thing and also can't be reversed, really. So those are the few that came to the top of my head that, like, just be careful.
I never understood the buccal fat removal. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I want to be like collagen-y and squishy. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to like
Yes.
lose my, like, you're gonna
Yeah.
remove it? Like, that just seems like exactly as you said it would age you. But again, like, I think the big takeaway that I heard from you is like, find a a practitioner that is board certified, knows what they're doing, is very skilled and very competent. That person will not only help you get a good result, but also help you determine if this procedure is even right for you. Because I think you're right. Like it's an exciting time where people are just being so much more transparent and open about cosmetic procedures that they're having. Yet at the same time, it can create this FOMO for folks, and they're like, "Oh, I need to do that now. That's what I need to do." And it's not always right for them, right? I mean, that's
Right.
just because Kim Kardashian did it doesn't mean it's a good fit for you and your body or your face. So that must, I mean, how do you chat with patients about this who have like these kind of unrealistic expectations, or show you a photo and you're like, honey,
Not achievable. Yeah.
we need to
Right.
talk. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's getting better because people are hopefully becoming more educated about stuff like this. But yeah, having realistic expectations. We're not robots. We're all unique snowflakes. And that's what's cool about the world, is that we're all uniquely beautiful and have different things to offer. And so bringing a photo in and saying, I want to look like this, I just say, have a chat. That's not something that's achievable. And, if that's what you're really looking for and you don't agree, then maybe we're not a good fit. And so,
Mm.
having a surgeon or having a doctor who says no is a green flag, because there are things that aren't right for everyone. And the doctor, that's why, kind of like you said before, keeping it real, is important, because there's so much information out there it's not necessarily helpful.
I love that you mentioned that. A doctor that says no is a green flag. I think that that's applicable to so many other disciplines as well. I recently just finished this book called Book Yourself Solid. Apparently, I'm like one of the last people to read this book. And a lot of
I
it,
haven't
like,
read it.
yeah, it's really interesting. It's
Cool.
for service providers. It's not for, so if you're listening and you're a CPG person, this wouldn't really apply to you. But the very first chapter was about something they called the velvet rope policy, only letting clients, or in your case, patients in that are a home run or a good fit, right? And like being able to say, I'm sorry, it's not a good fit. And not only does that do the client a service or the patient a service, right? Because you're not probably going to be able to give them the result. They're going to be let down. It does you a service too, especially in the long run, because you're protecting your reputation, right? Like that's
Right.
your patient walking around, right, in the world. And,
Yeah.
should people notice that they got work done, they're going to talk about, the good, the bad, the ugly. So I think that's just so smart from so many angles. Like as a patient, that's smart. And then as, a business owner and as a physician, that's extremely wise as well too. So that's a good takeaway for all of us to glean from this episode. Dr. Gina, for anyone that is listening who maybe is considering cosmetic procedures, tell us a little bit about what to look for if they're feeling nervous. What do you say to them? Because it sounds like these are permanent procedures. How do they know if it's a right time or that a procedure is right for them?
I usually tell patients because I get worried if they're not nervous. It's normal to be nervous.
Mm,
It's surgery. I mean, and complications happen even to the best patients and surgeons. You can do everything right and
mhm,
still get an infection or, another issue. And so making sure that patients are fully educated about what they're doing and what they're interested in, that's my job. And then, kind of guiding them through the process and saying, like, where are you in your journey? Are you just information gathering? Do you want to book
mhm,
this yesterday? What are the reasons that you're here? And the it seems so simple, but I'm disappointed to hear from patients who have come to me after seeing other surgeons, like they say, I just don't feel like anyone's listening to me. And it's not hard. Like that's our job as doctors is listening to the patient because no one knows your patient better than they know themselves. And so
mm.
hearing their story, hearing their why, figuring out, what is it that they're nervous about, and then educating them to alleviate those fears, and then hopefully guiding them through the process. And then the other thing that I tell patients is that regardless of what happens, I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm here to be with you throughout and after. So if you are somebody in the small percentage of people that has a problem, I'm going to be there for you and help get you through that so that we can get to a good place.
Love it. Love it. So important. You are a
Yeah.
gem, Dr. Gina. Last but not least, what is next for you in your practice? Are you excited about anything coming up? We're on the heels of 2026. Fill us in.
It has been a very quick year that's gone by, and I'm still just wanting to grow, wanting to get my message out there. Um, you and your team have been amazing and a huge part of my development, and I can't thank you enough. I just will see where things take me. For right now, I'm just taking care of my patients and doing the work that I love. And hopefully that will continue to expand as time goes by and we'll see what that brings.
That's amazing. Well, it has been such a pleasure, such an honor. Thank you, Dr. Maccarone. Where can our listeners connect with you and learn more about your services?
So all of my social media handles are the Surgeonista, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and then my website, thesurgeonista.com. Um, I have AI receptionist if you decide to call my number, but I do have online booking and all those kind of things. So feel free to get in touch with me with any of those ways. Be happy to see you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Gina.
Thank you, Rena.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode deposited some useful advice and insights to help you grow your wealth. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future conversations. You can find more resources, episode details, and updates at growyourwealthpodcast.com. And let's keep the conversation going on Instagram. Follow me at Grow Your Wealth Podcast. I'd love to hear your thoughts, questions, or takeaway from today's show. Until next time, remember, burnout is optional. Take care, and I'll see you next week.